98 Not Out, sponsored by Shepherd Neame, proud supporters of cricket in Essex.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, the man, the legend that is Geoff Boycott, is having an auction of all of his cricketing memorabilia. Geoffrey just turned 80 recently. There's a lot of famous 80th birthdays recently. There's Geoffrey, Pele, Sir Cliff, and Jeffrey Archer, who was on the show last week. And thank you for all the feedback from Jeffrey's interview last week. I think he entertained quite a lot of you from some of the messages we got. Remember, his book, Hidden in Plain Sight, is out now. And I suggest you buy it. So it's a very, very good read. Very easy, nothing too heavy, and just a good story and a classic Geoffrey. But anyway, talking of Geoffrey, joining us to tell us all about this auction is the editor of the Cricketer magazine, Mr. Huw Turbervill. Huw, how are you doing?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm well, thanks.
So tell us all about this auction that's going on.
Christie's, the world famous auctioneers, are selling off 130 items from the collection of the great man. Of course, we can't go up to Christie's office, wherever that is, probably Kensington somewhere.
Yeah.
It's all online now, but the items are laid out rather nicely on the Christie's.com website. I caught wind of it a couple of days ago and wrote a blog about it for my column for the Cricketer website. So, I mean, it's very interesting. There's a beautiful bats, beautiful stumps, beautiful caps, and various other miscellany that catch my eye, really. A couple of things I wouldn't be tempted by. I don't see quite why they're in there, but no, it's an amazing one, really. Yeah, I mean, do you want me to keep blabbing on? There's a cap from each country, by the looks of it. Greg Chappell.
All right.
His baggy green. Barry Richards of South Africa. Viv Richards of West Indies. Viv Richards is the most expensive.
How much is that going for?
Pleased to say. Well, the starting bid's 4,000.
Wow.
I think Greg Chappell's is 3,200. Barry Richards is 900. 1970, it says. Got a Springbok on it. I presume he must have given that to Geoffrey during that 70s summer when England played Rest of the World.
Yeah, there would be, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I always thought with the baggy greens that they're loath to give them away, aren't they?
Prized possession.
Prized possessions. And there's one here, David Rensburg's baggy green. I've never heard of him, must admit. He played 8 tests in between 66 and 68. Didn't face England. But the obvious connection with Geoffrey and why this ended up in Geoffrey's collection. Saying for 1 minute that Geoffrey. But of course I'm not. But no, I'm not giving to Geoffrey. But that's 1,600. So.
And these are opening gambits, really. I mean, like you said,
starting bids. I think the 17. I can see it in front of me. 17 days, 16 hours, 33 minutes to go. So actually some of them have now got current bid next to them.
Oh, right.
Obviously a few bids have gone in. And then there's Geoffrey's school caps as well, normal caps as well. His schoolboy Yorkshire cap, his second cap, and his first cap. So really, I mean, there's some real sort of precious stuff in it. I was surprised really that he's getting rid of. But at least I suppose he'll know that they're going in the hands of loving aficionados who will give them a decent home, we hope.
That's right. Probably David English will probably snap a lot of them up like he usually does at cricketing auctions. One of them. Sorry, go on.
I'm friends with David. I didn't know that he did that actually. Does he? Yeah, he's a collector, is he?
Oh yes, just a little bit.
Right.
One of the things that caught my eye, I've had a look at this, and there's a suitcase, an MCC suitcase.
Yeah, so that's top of the miscellanea list, definitely. This fantastic faux leather suitcase with some labels on it from the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel and the Townhouse Adelaide. So we can only imagine, what went on there. It must have been fantastic. We'd be paid, just to be paid to play cricket in all these fantastic overseas locations and carry this amazing luggage around, faux brown leather. with the MCC colours, the stripes, the red and the yellow, because they were MCC in those days, of course.
That's right.
There's a lovely tracksuit as well with that again, that red and yellow stripe down it on a sky blue with navy collars. England one-day tracksuit top. And of course, in those days, they didn't play in the sky blue; they played in white.
Yeah.
Until maybe in fact, they started playing 82-3, didn't they? Proper colours. They played had a stripe in their trousers in 79-80, but yeah, the tracksuits came in. So they're lovely, and we've got in sweaters, England sweater, and the blazers, of course. One's a very simple blazer, just navy with the badge, and another one with sort of far more ostentatious MCC piping. So I don't know which one I'd prefer really, but they're both lovely, aren't they? And one of the classic jumpers would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's right. If money was no object and your wife wasn't looking, what would you go for out of and as you say, there's 130 plus items there. So if I said to you, take your pick, what would you go for?
An England sweater, I think. I've always. I put something in my story today actually, which was misconstrued by someone. So I went into a sports shop in Sussex in about 1980 when I was about 8 years old and asked to buy an England test sweater, and they laughed at me. And of course now you can buy them, can't you?
Yeah.
But I did it in my story. I wrote it in a sort of funny way, and I went, needless to say, now they're on offer and you can buy them as a replica. Needless to say, I got the last laugh in faux Alan Partridge style, but I've been picked up by the accidental Partridge Twitter feed this morning. So I had several people messaging me overnight saying, "You're on the accidental Partridge Twitter feed." Absolutely delighted about it. They're Partridge aficionados. I'm not particularly, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the occasional bits and pieces. I've never heavily got into it, but
I suppose the way I read it was, I wrote it was probably a little bit like cheesy, yeah. But I didn't mean to be. I suppose no one deliberately goes Alan Partridge, is they?
No, that's right.
Richard Madeley.
You kind of wonder with Madeley, but no. Every time I see him, whether he's standing in on the one show or whatever else, it's just you're sat there cringing because you know that sooner or later.
Poor Judy. Mortification every morning.
So this auction, is it for charity? Or
good question. Very good question. Doesn't mention a charitable element in there, I must admit. Yeah.
Or is it sort of Jeffrey's pension fund?
I have contacted Jeffrey about it. We had him on the cover of the most recent magazine to celebrate his 80th. Not to everybody's liking, I have to confess, but he's a bit of an acquired taste, isn't he? But yeah, we think he's a sort of pivotal figure in cricket. And no, it doesn't mention a charitable element, I'm afraid. Well, another thing that was interesting was the caps of the West Indies. One of them was Rowan Canai's was navy blue. So they obviously shifted from navy blue to crimson, maroon at some stage.
That is a good one, isn't it? Because I'll have to investigate this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, somebody like David Frith will probably be able to tell us, but I don't know when they switched from blue to crimson. But that caught my eye.
That would be an unusual thing to have, wouldn't it?
And the stumps. I mean, would you like a stump over your mantelpiece? You know, they've got sort of they're written on.
Yeah.
So England v West Indies at Antigua, and the date. You know, and things like that on them. So, and they're, Geoff Boycott's first match as captain and all this sort of thing. So, yeah, they're quite nice, aren't they? A couple of £100 for those.
No, don't fancy a cricket bat?
Well, I do fancy them. Yeah, I mean they're beautiful. Yeah, no, Slasingers. I mean they're lovely bats, aren't they? They're lovely looking bats, those old Slasingers. So yeah, no, I wouldn't mind one. Yeah, I wouldn't mind one at all. Yeah, I think jumper first though for me.
Do you know when I first started, my first ever, this is a true story, my first ever proper cricket bat when I was 13, or maybe no, I was 12 or 13, and And when I started playing for Billericay Cricket Club back in those days, and I went with my dad and we bought this bat, and I was beside myself because it was a poly-armoured, triple-sprung Slazenger bat, and across the front, and I've still got it, it says, Geoff Boycott plays Slazenger.
Yeah.
Right across the front. Poly-armoured. Do you remember those poly-armoured bats, you?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say Duncan Fernley, actually. I had a poly-armoured Magnum, same Duncan Fernley.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote a piece about Slazenger bats fairly recently, which did really well on the internet, and the mag got a lot of letters. I was perhaps a little bit uncharitable in hindsight to Slazenger, because I was saying how much I used to love them, and now they're owned by Sports Direct, and the top players don't use them anymore. And I did make the point, that it's good that there's a mass manufacturer who's providing kit for kids, and I tried to be fair about it, but I did have a chat with somebody from Slazenger who wasn't quite fair enough, but yeah, I mean, they're not the kind of go-to bat they used to be, but they looked so beautiful, didn't they, with the likes of Mark Warney and Bell, and Viveris and Alan Lamb.
Now, was it a Jaguar that was their symbol?
Yeah, it's a Jaguar. Yeah, I was trying to work it was the Jaguar or Panther, but it's a Jaguar, classic Jaguar, and the V12. Just a beautiful red V. There's a couple of these in the collection towards the end. So he used a V12 to make his final innings, which was against Northants. And actually, I think he's run out in that, because I wrote about that the other day with Jim Love, ex-Yorkshire, who ran him out in his final innings. I think it was at Scarborough. So it's a V12 for his final innings, a V12 for his final century against Surrey, and another V12 for his 150th century against Leicestershire.
Oh, I might have a look.
Yeah, and then you go back to the five. He's got a Yorkshire Slazenger 5-star against Nott. Another V12. Yeah. So but then he's got a county. He used his 100th against Australia. Headingley 77 was county. Hunt's County.
Oh yeah. God, with the C logo, wasn't it? Yeah.
And there's a bit of humour here, because also there's a plate, and it's called the Aggers and Boycott Practical Joke Plate. And it's related to his hundreds. It lists his hundreds, I think, by the looks of it. And of course, there was that prank played on him on the radio by Jonathan Agnew, when they were saying that the hundreds in the rest of the world summer of 1970 wouldn't count. So his 100th Headingley was actually his 99th, and that's well worth a look on YouTube. That's still out there, but
So if people want to look at this, and it's probably a good excuse to visit your website. So if people go to thecricketer.com, the article I think is front and centre on the homepage. And you do provide links to the auction as well on that piece, so people can go and take a look.
Yeah, just Google. Go to the piece, but if you struggle, it's Google Christie Geoff Boycott.
No. We want them to go to cricket.com. Huw.
We did. It was slightly weird thing for me to say. Do you know what? I'm not even sure the link is on there, if I'm honest. It should be on there.
That's how I went there. Yeah. I went through this.
Oh, it is there, right? Okay, yeah. I'm checking. Yeah. I tell you what, it's picked up big time now. It's got a lot of hits. I think it's probably because of the accidental partridge.
To do it more often.
Well, there you go. You see, every. What was that? Who was it that said that all publicity is good publicity? Whatever.
Yeah, I had that quoted to me this morning actually by one of my colleagues.
Did you?
I wasn't quite sure how to take it, if I'm honest. The accolade of being on the accidental partridge, but one of my young colleagues said all publicity is good publicity. Yeah.
There you go. Well, it's an excellent website. I urge everyone to go and look at thecricketer.com. It is very interesting, and in these times.
Week as well, 2 pages on each county reviewing their fortunes during the season.
Yeah.
2 pages on Essex.
And then, as you say, you've got the feature on Geoff Boycott's 80th birthday.
Yeah, that was the last issue. Yeah, the new one is out this week, the November magazine.
Right.
And yeah, we've got 2 pages on each county. Got a Ted Dexter interview, Joe Denley interview.
Excellent.
So Jack Russell. So plenty of stuff. Yeah.
And as you
the one
mentioned,
that's still for sale, the Geoff Boycott one's got a nice article by Derek Pringle on Essex.
I was just going to say you mentioned Essex. Yeah.
Read. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've had a change of scene at the top. Chief Exec Derek Bowden.
That's right. He's gone, hasn't he? Yeah. After.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, he's a very good man. He leaves this week. So, yeah, from what it's worth and from my perspective, he leaves them in a pretty good place, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Well, when he came along, I mean, his span at the club is quite interesting because when he arrived, was it 2012 he turned up and we were sort of languishing in Division 2 and...
Yeah, he's won 5 trophies. County Championship twice, Bob Willis this year, promotion from Division 2 and last 7 years. I think they've got money in the coffers to probably, get through next year. So in that regard, they're probably pretty well placed compared to some counties.
Yeah.
Former Chief Executive Town, of course, as well. So
Ipswich Town, that's right, yeah. That's right.
yeah.
Okay, Huw, well, many, many thanks for joining us and giving up your time this evening. And remember, if anyone's listening, go to thecricketer.com and you'll see this piece that Huw has written about the Geoffrey Boycott auction. I suggest you, even just out of curiosity, go and take a look because there are some really good items on there, so, some of which we've discussed. And I think there are also some stuff from other players. I think there's some Botham and Gower signed bits and pieces on there as well. So, well worth a look. And if, do you know what, have yourself a couple of brandies, make sure the wife's not looking or the husband's not looking.
You're going to say
and just get busy with the left click on the mouse and you might bake yourself something nice to put on the mantelpiece. Huw Turbervill of The Cricketer, many, many thanks for joining us and we'll catch up again soon.